Hello.
Hello. We are Jim and Josie Tipler of Hailsham Creative. I can actually put a little banner up to tell you who we are. Where are we? There we go. That's us.
Oh, look. Mum, we're on telly.
So welcome to our very first Midweek Wealden event. So tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing today. In a little while, we're going to get Bev Toogood up for a chat to us. And can you just put back on the screen what I was looking at, please? And she's going to talk about her shop, Almost Off Grid, and scrawnygoat.com. So we'll have a little chat about that. And also, we're going to be showing a music video at the end of this half-hour broadcast. So do hang around and watch that. It's a lovely video of a lovely song. And I'll tell you a little bit about Support Wealden, which is what we started in lockdown last year. We started this as a free listings site for local businesses. And we came up with the idea, firstly, because we had changed direction slightly and started going into web design. And one of the first websites we created was a listings site. And we thought one of the problems we were having was we didn't know where to buy flour, as a lot of people. So we thought, wouldn't it be good if there was a place somebody could go to and they can actually see which shops are still operating, if they've gone online, that sort of thing. So that was why we started up the Support Wealden listings site. And I need to see what else I'm talking about. And we started now, we're sort of morphing into doing some online interviews, live streams with business people who are part of Support Wealden. So, yeah, do you want to?
And then, well, this is our first one, so wish us all luck. Our first guest is Bev Toogood, who we've known for quite some time in various formats, really, and for various reasons. Through business mostly, through her business. I think, should we just bring Bev in?
Yeah. So bring Bev
There you go.
in.
That's
there.
it. Click that one.
Add to stream. I can take us.
Hello.
Now.
Hello.
Hello.
And you can hear us.
I can hear you, yeah.
Excellent.
Wonders of technology.
Hello. It's
Thank
incredible.
you.
Isn't it?
Thank you for having me. It's very kind of you to ask me on your first one.
Oh yeah, thank you for being our guinea pig.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Well, yes, I am Bev Toogood, and we have known each other a long time through business over the years because I've had a couple. We ran a children's wear business, which is where we first met you, called Little Sunflowers, who's a lot of people still know us from because we had that business for 14 years, and that was children's clothing, children's fashion, with a little bricks and mortar shop, but it became online really quickly and grew online really quickly. So we used to help us with marketing and stuff like that back in the day when we relocated down here to Sussex. Yeah. And then we got fed up with that for many and various reasons that I could spend the whole 20 minutes talking about, so I won't. And we started a new business called Almost Off Grid, which initially was homebrew only, because we're in Hailsham, and Hailsham has a wonderful background and history of cider making. And since Merrydown, and when Merrydown shut, we knew that there were a lot of people carried on brewing. And then there was a homebrew shop in Hailsham, I don't know if you remember, and it closed down. It was a little health food shop that had homebrew in it.
Yeah, St Mary's Wharf,
Yeah, exactly. And we used to go there and buy our yeast and stuff. So then we were like, well, what are we going to do? And I was going on Amazon buying it. And I thought, well, if I can go on Amazon buying it, I may as well sell it on Amazon because we were already selling children's stuff on Amazon. Yeah. So we bolted on a homebrew business, which went bananas. And then we couldn't run both. Plus, it was a bit of a weird mix.
Yeah.
Yes.
Baby grows and alcohol kits. So we dropped the children's wear after 14 years to the day from when we'd started it.
Is it? Ah.
Yeah. And then last year, so we've been running this for 4 years, but only 2 years just Almost Off Grid. And it's sort of morphed into cheese kits and all sorts of random
I didn't know about the cheese kits.
So how have you found the last year then, Bev, in terms of, well, particularly in terms of the homebrew market? How's that been?
What's bizarre is it's gone bananas for us. And we're very aware of how fortunate we are. It seems that everybody decided to get plastered in lockdown or something. I don't know. I think it started when you couldn't get, I don't know if you remember, there was a brief period, but quite shocking nevertheless, where you'd walk into a supermarket and not only were there no toilet rolls, there was no beer and there was no wine either. It's like everybody went bananas and just went out and bought it all. It could only have been panic buying because there were no supply issues or anything as we understood it with alcohol at that time.
Yeah.
So then we were getting calls from people saying, I've got my bucket down from the loft. I want to make beer. Can you remind me how to do it?
I think he's one of them, isn't he?
Well, yes, since you mention it. And it was just like that. And it just went more and more mad. And so on the one hand, we were delighted and we just bring it on. You know, it was mad, but our suppliers were sort of keeping up with demand. It was a bit tricky at times getting stuff because everybody was in the same situation. All the homebrew shops around the country were in the same situation as we were. But I was looking at other shops in Hailsham High Street and feeling wretched for them because they were the opposite. Their businesses had just stopped. They couldn't open the door. And if they weren't online as well, in any sense, in any kind of way, they had nothing. And if they were online, they didn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't know how to, because, well, again, without going into too much detail, but essentially what happened is the whole nation went to eBay and Amazon in lockdown.
Yeah.
Because they knew that they'd get their stuff. So all the stuff about I support small shops only and I don't go on Amazon, it all kind of went out the window at some point last year because they all use the safety net of Amazon and eBay. You know, you buy something and if you don't get it, you'll get a refund. And a lot of small shops, although their websites were still up, they weren't operating in the same way that they were before. They might have been furloughed and they didn't want to take their websites down. So the website was still up, but you'd order something, you wouldn't hear anything. Yeah. And that's what happened to you once and then you never again sort of thing. So we suddenly found all our customers, some of them were still buying from us, our regulars, and particularly Click and Collect, that was working really well. But we weren't getting many new customers. And then we worked out quite why that was. And because everybody was using third-party platforms. So we set up Scrawny Go, which, again, I could tell you, talk for hours about why we called it that, but I won't. ScrawnyGo.com, which is incredibly hard to say quickly, as you've just heard. But it is a group of retailers that we help to do what we do. Right. Because we sell everywhere. We sell Amazon, eBay, OnBuy, Etsy, our site, bricks and mortar. We do the lot. We always have to some extent, but we've really ramped up the online stuff since lockdown.
So are there more sales platforms coming on stream as well as the ones that we all know about, the Etsy's and the eBays and the Amazons? Are there others coming on stream?
Yeah, OnBuy is the most well known. If you've ever heard of it, a lot of people still haven't heard. No, OnBuy is going for the eBay market. So it's going for the UK, because eBay is obviously an American company and so is Amazon. Yeah. So it's going for the UK side of it. And they have invested squillios in OnBuy. And they've got lots of investors and they keep having new investment rounds. So we thought, well, we'll get in there early. But we've done this before. There have been other people that have come along and they're going to be the new big thing. And then it never sort of comes out that way. So you never quite know whether they are or they aren't. But they're doing amazing things. And we are getting sales on there. You know, it's not setting the world on fire, but we're definitely getting sales on there. So we didn't want to miss that opportunity to be selling on there as well. But, you know, we others that some of your other viewers will have seen that will have probably signed up to that have just gone. And what we're finding now is a lot of people are setting up new sites and they're trying to create the whole small shop, Etsy, not on the high street type angle, because everybody wants to support the small shops, which is wonderful, but they don't have the budget to get the traffic to their site. You've got to spend a lot of money on Google to get traffic to your site at the moment. Because
do you see the? Oh, sorry, Bev.
No, go ahead. It's fine.
How do you see the future, particularly of small retail? Then, do you think the mix is going to change irrevocably now in terms of people dividing their time between going into the small shops and buying online as well? Do you think that's the way forward?
That's exactly what we think. We think, I mean, it's a year now, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
It's a year since this whole thing started. A year in people's lives is a long time. And so much about retail is habit. So people buy from you all the time, but if something goes wrong or someone else comes along, particularly online someone else comes along with a better deal, even our very, very, very best customers over the years have been seduced by someone else and gone off somewhere else. Yeah. And that's what's happened sort of with bells on really over the last 12 months. Yeah. And I would love to think that it will go back to how it was before, but sadly, we don't believe that will happen. We think it's been too long. Too many habits have been broken.
Sadly or excitingly, I suppose.
Well, yes, it depends on your perspective. It's very sad for the small shops that think, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be online. I want people to come into my shop. I want to have the chats and I want to have, all of that, which is all part of the reason we all set up shops in the first place. We didn't set up shops, bricks and mortar shops, to be online. That wasn't the idea. But you've kind of got to go where your customers are. And if your customers are there and you don't go there, no one's going to buy your stuff. And that's the harsh reality of what the last 12 months has told us. So now we actually think if you want a bricks and mortar shop, you've really got to have the online stream as well. It's almost like the luxury of a bricks and mortar shop now. I think in the future, the ones that can do that will be the ones that have all the other income streams coming in from all the different places and are set up that way. Because if you've just got a bricks and mortar shop, not only at the moment could you be shut down with a moment's notice by the government, but unless you're essential. But even if you're essential, the essential shops are not busy like they used to be because people just, other than supermarkets, you're either potentially going to be shut, or when you do finally open to all this great fanfare, the rumours are July, August, September, maybe this year.
Yeah.
You've then got to rely on everybody coming back.
Yeah.
And I know at least 3 people I've had conversations with who never shopped online for groceries before. They were quite happy to go and buy their stuff at Sainsbury's. That was their routine. Their routine now is I buy my groceries online, and they're never going back. That's what they're telling us.
Well, it'll take a long while for the confidence to come back, for people to want to go out shopping, won't it?
Yeah.
So there will be a crossover of people still wanting to go to the shops, but wanting to buy online, intending to eventually go back to shops.
And you'll still have... Yeah, absolutely. And you'll still have people in your circle potentially who are still clinically vulnerable, even if they've had the vaccination. It doesn't protect you from COVID. It just makes the symptoms milder if you catch it, so, as I understand it. So my dad is clinically vulnerable. I won't be rushing out to go and mingle with the world and then see him. Not a chance.
No.
I will avoid all that contact as far as I possibly can. My husband, Andy, who runs the business with me, he has 1 kidney. Now, technically, he's not clinically vulnerable, but we're not taking any chances because, why would you? If you don't have to, why would you? And there will be people chomping at the bit to get out there and go shopping again, but they won't be in the numbers that they were before. That's what I believe. So there's a fantastic opportunity for small shops, but you have to be prepared to take a deep breath, forget everything you ever said about Amazon, eBay, all those, because a lot of people have kind of been slagging them off for years, and now are kind of, oh no, now what do I do? It doesn't matter about what's gone before. People will understand what matters is what happens now. Yeah. And they are the ones who are spending all the money on advertising. I don't know if you listen to the radio, eBay non-stop. They've had it all the way through lockdown. Buy, sell, eBay. All the interviews with little businesses like us that are selling on those platforms, telling you that you are helping small businesses by buying there, and you are.
I think I'd always assumed that Amazon was just Amazon. You're buying from Amazon. Yeah.
And they make no attempt to diffuse that idea. By the way,
it was interesting when I sat in on a couple of your. You were doing these the daily things for 5 days, weren't you? About
the 5-day FBA thing. Absolutely,
that was an eye opener.
Yeah, their mission is to stock everything in the universe, or something. It's not the wording they use, but something like that. They want to be the one-stop shop for everything in the world. Everybody knows them for all their aggressive marketing and pricing around books and media, DVDs. music, all the terrible things that they have done. I totally agree. They've really destroyed some areas, some price areas. But there are thousands of shops like us who sell on there, either as a marketplace seller or we fulfill to Amazon, which is to say that we send our stock there and they pick, pack and send it for us. And so next time you go on Amazon, for anyone that's sitting out there that didn't realize that Amazon isn't just Amazon, go on, search for something and then have a look at what it says under the price. It may well say sold by Amazon, or it may say sold by Amazon, fulfilled by almost off grid. Other way around. Sold by almost off grid, fulfilled by Amazon. Or it may say sold and shipped by almost off grid. So there are 3 categories on there, and only one of them is pure Amazon. The other 2 are shops like us. Yeah. And we know shops that have only survived this whole thing because they're there, because that's where all the people were.
So tell us what you can do for other small retailers then, Bev, and how they can get in touch with you and that sort of thing, and pick your brains, and how you can work with them. I think that would be really good.
Well, we would love to help everybody. This has been so hard for everybody.
And presumably you're doing that as a sort of a consultancy, as well as the free workshops that you've been doing as well. Is that right?
We do both. So we've got a group on scrawnygoat.goat. Can't say it today. Scrawny Goat.
Can't say your own business name.
That's our website. We have a little group on Facebook. It's about 130 people now, called the Small Retailer Lounge, which you will see about if you come to Scrawny Goat, if you can't remember that wording.
Yeah.
And in there, we've got shop owners that are talking about what's going on outside, and it's a private group. So although you can find it, you can't see what's being said unless you come in. And people are quite open about their situations and sharing their new products and talking about how difficult it can be, and getting tips from other people about how you can make it better. Thank you. The Small Retailer Lounge, that's right. And we do run occasional paid trainings, but mostly we're running little mini workshops and things so that you can go off and do it yourself, because none of this stuff is hard. But a lot of shop owners are scared of the tech. Yeah. And we know that, because if they weren't, they'd be doing it by now. So we're trying. Go on.
In one of the ones I sat in, you were talking about hairdressers, and I thought, well, what could a hairdresser do online? You can't cut somebody's hair online. But it's
exactly.
Like if you sell shampoo in the shop, sell that online.
It's a lot of lateral thinking, isn't there?
Yeah, you do. And, you have to, a lot of people have been so amazingly creative in this period because they've had to, because otherwise they're not going to have any income. And it doesn't even matter if you got grants. I mean, some people didn't even get the grants, but for the ones that did, that doesn't make up for a year of lost sales, which is potentially what you're looking at. So yes, we run some paid workshops, but mostly free, just to get over that block, because people are afraid and they think it's a lot harder than it actually is. Yeah. And you don't have to pay a web developer thousands of pounds. You don't have to have your own website at all. You're better off on the big marketplace platforms, because that's where everybody is. That's where your customers are. So the one thing, if anybody is thinking, what's the one thing I can take from all of this, is go to where your customers are. Don't wait for them to come to you, because they're not coming.
Yeah.
And sorry, some nice ones will. The little one, a few people, but not enough to be like it was before. And so you're going to have to almost start again. So you may as well be selling on these other platforms to have the money coming in while you rebuild your shop business over the next couple of years, because that's what it's going to take, I think.
In the last few minutes, we've got we actually had a couple of questions, which is really nice. We've Sam's late to the party.
Hi, Sam.
This is our mate Sam Spires.
Oh,
do you know Sam?
I do know Sam.
Of course you do. Everyone knows lovely Sam.
Everybody knows everybody. What's the height? Not intimately, but I do know. What what's the high? Just thought I'd put that in. What's the high street going to look like in 10 years' time? That's a fantastic question. And if I knew the answer, I'd be in Barbados because I'd be a soothsayer, a very successful one. It will not look like it does today. I can't tell you what it will look like, but I can tell you what it won't look like. And it won't look like 2 years ago. There's too many big names that have gone already.
Yeah.
Too many small shops that have already gone, I can't do this anymore. So I believe that the high street will become eventually more of a community thing that has been talked about before, where there are hubs where people can go, maybe cafes where you can go to find out about work. So that sort of combining things together rather than it being a cafe alone. I just don't think our high streets can survive just by being a load of coffee shops and charity shops, which is potentially what we're looking at the end of all of this. It's awful, but that's
our local town is Hailsham, and I know at least 2 shops, possibly 3, that opened up during last year. So that they're very brave to actually start opening shops. But I think that potentially you're getting more people now who are going to want to start a business, and if they've got this sort of multi-pronged attack that they know a shop isn't the sort of the be all and end all, they can do all this other stuff, then they may be more inclined to
if someone comes to me now, and some people have come to us now and said, I want to start a shop, we always say eBay or Amazon or both first. Don't I mean, a lot of the people that have opened shops or tried to open shops probably had that plan before. You know, may have been months in the making, and then it was all stalled by lockdowns and things like that, all the legal stuff. But they may have already planned to do that before we started, before this whole thing started. But we say to everyone, do not just open a shop. You have to have these other layers, these other income revenue streams coming in, because otherwise you can't pay the bills because you've got no cash. You can't buy stock if you have no money. You've got to keep the cash flowing, and that's the way to do it, is to have lots of money coming in, dribbles of money coming in from all different places.
And we've got another question from Sue. Now, Sue, we know Sue as well, Sue Edwards. This is more to do with Google advertising. I don't know if that's within your remit or not. And it's got to sort of keep it a little bit quick so we can try and get finished. We're going to try and keep the schedule. No, that's all right.
If you've never paid for a Google ad and you have a thriving, successful business, that is fantastic. For the vast majority of shop owners, social media alone is not enough because people don't see it anymore. It's getting busier and busier, more and more information being thrown at everybody. And places like Facebook, people actually don't like to be sold to on Facebook, interestingly, even though people try it. It's considered a social platform. So you cannot get traffic to your website in any volume, I would say, without Google AdWords. I just don't see how that's possible, unless you happen to feature on the BBC. And even then, and I've been featured on the BBC, and I can tell you it's short term. It's a quick
I suppose it depends on, like all these things, it depends on what you do, what you're selling. If you're selling multiples of things, then you need that volume of traffic. If you're far more specialist, obviously you need to get the message out there wider, but obviously you're less reliant on hundreds of hits for the product that you're in competition with.
To capture them. So if people come to your website but they don't buy, you need to capture their information, their email. Then you're okay. Then you don't need Google anymore. But that's a long road. That's a strategy for the long term.
Brilliant, Bev. That's really good. Thank you so much for being our guinea pig.
Thank you for having me.
We've really enjoyed it.
Have you made your beer kit yet? Have you made your beer kit yet?
Oh, I think I've. Yes, I'm getting to the end of my.
We have beardy beer.
120 pints of bitter.
made him in a nice label, a lino cut of our bearded collie. And
yes,
I saw that. We've got beardy beer.
Oh, I love it when people do that. It's so nice. Thank you for having me.
Oh, that's right. Lovely. Thanks, Bev. And so we're going to say goodbye. And we're
going to move on to the music now.
Yeah. So we're going to
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right, thank you very much to Bev for joining us for that.
So Bev from offgrid.com and scrawnygoat.com.
Almost off-grid.
Almost off-grid. I almost got it right.
So we can move that off now.
Don't go away though, guys. We've got before we go, we're going to show a lovely video that we had a small part in putting together. But before we do that, our next show is going to be. We're always going to be in the middle of the month. It's going to be
middle of the month, middle of the week.
Middle of the month, middle of the week. You get the picture.
As close as we can. So yeah.
Middle of the day, middle of the day, middle of the month, middle of the. I don't know.
Yeah. So today's the 17th, and next month it will be the same, 17th of March.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, and our son's birthday.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have someone else to interview. We'll have some music. We'll have a lovely local musician, hopefully, with either playing live. We don't know yet. We haven't even asked anybody yet. It won't be us. We'd be glad to hear.
So if you'd like to be interviewed, if you have a business in Wealden or connected with Wealden, then do get in touch via the website. I'm trying to work out how I can point to the website there.
Oh, I've got a bigger one. Hang on.
Wealden.
I've got. Here, look, because I did a different one.
Oh, there we go. That's even bigger. Supportwealden.co. Oh, ow. Pulling those out of my head. Supportwealden.co.uk there. No, I can't work out. It's
anyway, there we go. So that's it from us, apart from to say, as time goes on, we're going to hopefully try and expand supportwealden.co.uk to have live, person-to-person networking events. So watch this space, keep in touch with Support Wealden, and that's it. Apart from this video that we are going to show you, which Josie will tell you all about.
Yeah, this video is of a song that was written by Mark Bruce, and he asked a lot of musician friends if they'd like to get involved in adding some bits and pieces to it. And of course it was all done during lockdown, so everyone created their little pieces at home, and he asked them all to video themselves performing, so he's put together the video for it as well.
And if you like it, then please donate to Macmillan Cancer Support.
Yeah, this is it's available on Bandcamp, which I think we can put the details of that up.
Yep.
So you can download it from Bandcamp as a single, and this was written for a good friend and lovely man, musician called Gary Penalva.
It's called The Last Encore. Thanks for watching, guys.
Shadows go along as we near the time. Let me feel the warmth of you tonight. It was not a dream, it was true and right. Look into my eyes and talk to me of all the time. is for